back from those days. All sorts of names, lots of which you will recognise from the folk scene or television, people like Jake Thackeray, Julie Felix, and so on. Do have a look, if you haven't yet, at the break. Incidentally, we'll do about 45 minutes and then have a break for about half an hour or so. Have a look at the posters. And yeah, over the years we've had several resident bands, people who would open things up before the guest came on. And we had, say, lots of professional touring guests. The members of those resident bands then went on to form lots of their own bands. But tonight we feature an artist who featured as a guest here. And if you look at the poster over there, I think it's January 74, which, well, it seems like yesterday, doesn't it? He was very young then. He was 3, I think. Child prodigy. I seem to remember, we thought.
He was only 5 years old.
And, yeah.
He was kinder, he said 3.
And this...
I was a fetus.
Yeah. I would just ask, I know we're in a pub and it's kind of pub hours and so on, but if we can treat this just a wee bit like the folk clubs it used to be and not have too much chatter or heckling, certainly not heckling. So if you can keep that down a wee bit, or if you particularly want to wrap it, then move through there, that would be nice. Sorry if that's impolite, but there we go. It'd be nice to hear our guest. Yeah, he's featured then. He's played in, since the years since then, people like Phil Beer, the Arizona Folk Smoke Review of blessed memory, a wonderful act. Pete Seeger, believe it or not, and more recently with Mick Ryan, who I've seen them together, and tons of session work, playing guitar. As you will hear, he is quite a guitarist, and so people have invited him to play. And I would like now to introduce him. On my left, and your front, will you welcome, please, Paul Downs.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ian. That was almost coherent, wasn't it? 50 years ago, I played in this very building. Yeah, extraordinary. I think a lot of you are folk enthusiasts. Some of you might not be and not actually familiar with what folk music is. Everyone has their different definition. Some people think it's anyone with an acoustic guitar is folk. I have a definition, and I think a lot of people agree with me, that folk music is music that is orally transmitted. Blech. That sounds most unpleasant, doesn't it? Orally transmitted from one generation to another without necessarily the help of the written word, or indeed CDs or photographs. To me, this is a folk song because I learned it from my dad. That makes sense, doesn't it? My dad learned it from a Bing Crosby record. Song about the Depression. Now, the only reason I'm singing this is because I think I was doing it 50 years ago. I haven't done it for the last 40 years, so wish me luck. I thought I'd just get off on the nostalgia track for myself as well. This is just a nervous tick. They used to tell me I was building a dream, and so I followed the mob. When there was earth to plough or guns to bear, I was always there, right on the job. They used to tell me I was building a dream, with peace and glory ahead. So how come I'm standing in line, just waiting for bread? Once I built a railroad, I made it run, I made it race against time. Once I built a railroad, now it's done. Oh, buddy, can you spare a dime? Once I built a tower right up to the sun, a brick and rivet and lime. Once I built a tower, now it's done. Oh, buddy, can you spare a dime? Once in khaki suits, gee, we look swell, full of that Yankee diddly-dum. 500,000 boots went marching through hell, and I was the kid with a drum. Oh, say, don't you remember, they call me Al. It was Al all the time. Say, don't you remember, I'm your pal. Well, buddy, can you spare a dime? Once in khaki suits, gee, we look swell, full of that Yankee diddly-dum. 500,000 boots went marching through hell, and I was the kid with a drum. Oh, say, don't you remember, they call me Al. It was Al all the time. Say, don't you remember, I'm your pal. Say, buddy, can you spare a dime? Thank you. That guy, I managed to get rid of a frog. This is a song written by two young Scotsmen, two young Glaswegians. They were about 22 years old at the time, and they were called Jerry Rafferty and Billy Connolly. They were in a group called the Humble Bums. So I can hear you as well. It's a group called the Humble Bums, and when they were just that age, and they became quite famous in their own right, as you probably remember. There's a song called Rick Rack. Rick Rack, rickety rack, see the train go along the track. When I grow up I want to be an engine driver. If I can't be that, I'll be a deep sea diver. My father says I should always work on the land. I don't disagree with him when I see him at his hand. My mother thinks I should be a carpenter to trade, and I could fill my home with all the things I had made. Rick Rack, rickety rack, see the train go along the track. When I grow up I want to be an engine driver. If I can't be that, I'll be a deep sea diver. I look at the sky, see the birds that can fly, and I feel like crying. Like a bird on a tree, I just want to be free. So I'll keep on trying and trying. My brother says I should pay attention at school, because I've never won a prize. He thinks I'm a fool. My teacher always asks me why I look so far away. It's just that I find nothing in the words she has to say. Rick-rack, rickety-rack, I'm leaving home and I'm not coming back. I'm on my way to be an engine driver, but if I can't be that, I'll be a deep-sea diver. I'm going to play a couple of tunes. Irish tunes, well, actually one's only fake Irish because I wrote it. For no apparent reason, I call it The Streams of Bourdain. And followed by my favourite Irish tune of all time, called Tour de Love, which is translated as Give Me Your Hand. It was written by a 17th century Irish harp player who wasn't O'Carolan. There's no words to this, I'll just tell the guitar player. Thank you very much. Anyone heard of a bloke called James Taylor? Oh, that's a pity. A few hands, I can say I wrote this, but I'm not a sort of person who does James Taylor songs and that sort of thing, but when the pandemic first hit us, the lockdown, I thought I'd done my last gig. I didn't think any music would come back. It looked like the whole world was going to shut down, really. So I thought, for my own satisfaction, I'd learn a song or two that I'd always wanted to learn. This is a James Taylor song. This is about his childhood in North Carolina, and it's rather brilliantly written. And Hercules is the name of the family dog, in case you're wondering what that is when it comes up. It's a rather brilliantly written song. Each verse just has 3 lines, and in 3 lines he tells you everything he wants to tell you, and you understand. Even down to his father having shell shock. But you can join in with the end of every verse goes down on Copperline. Even the old folk never knew why they called it like they do. Always wondering since the age of 2, down on Copperline. Copperhead, Copper Beach, copper kettle sitting side by each. Copper coil, copper Georgia peach, down on Copperline. Half a mile down to Morgan Creek, only living till the end of the week. Hercules had a hog-nosed snake down on Copperline. We were down on Copperline. Warm summer night down on Copperline. Slip away past supper time. Wood smoke and moonshine down on Copperline. One time I saw my daddy dancing, saw him moving like a man in a trance. Brought it back from the war in France, down on Copperline. Branch water and tomato wine, creosote and turpentine, sour mash and new moonshine, down on Copperline. We were down on Copperline. First kiss ever I took, tore a page from a romance book. Sky opened and the earth shook, down on Copperline. We were down on Copperline. Took a fall from a windy height, I only knew how to hold on tight. Prayed for love enough to last all night, down on Copperline. Day breaks and the boy wakes up, and the dog barks and the birds sing, and the sap rises and the angels sigh. Yeah, I tried to go back as if I could, all spec house and plywood. Tore up good, down on Copperline. It doesn't seem as a surprise to me, it doesn't touch my memory. Now I'm rising up and flying free down on Copper Line. Half a mile down to Morgan Creek, leaning heavy on the end of the week. Hercules had a hog-nosed snake down on Copper Line. Take me down on Copper Line. Take me down on Copper Line. Take me down on Copper Line. Oh, I thought it was the PA. I thought it was the PA doing naughty things. It was a pump of some sort. There once was a man, and his name it was Dan, and a fine young man you've not seen. He'd work hard each day in the labouring way, and on physical pleasures was keen. Each night from the pub to his home and his grub, he would hurry propelled by his passion. And his wife, I might say, always gave him his way, for to please him was always her fashion. Now, very soon, Dan was a family man on account of his wife's great fecundity. And try as she did, she could not put the lid on the cause of her constant rotundity. So she asked her pal, a young lady named Sal, for advice on subduing his ardour. For Sally, though wed, kept a virginal bed, and had never had buns in her larder. Said Sally, the trick is to measure his foot and to charge him £1 for each inch. In the case of my Joe, that's £6 a go, and from such inflation he'll flinch. Though his teeth he may gnash, he will not touch his cash, deterred by this tax on rigidity. To yourself you can keep, for he'll soon be asleep. Yes, the best contraception's frigidity. So Dan's wife agreed, with the greatest of speed, for to put Sally's plan into action. And that night in bed, to her husband she said he would pay by the inch and the fraction. £9, cried Dan, who do you think I am? You are crazy without any doubt. But his wife, undeterred, said she'd stick to her word. So he said, can I pay coming out? Now Dan had his pride. So he lay on his side and was rapidly falling asleep, while his wife on her back, having quelled his attack, tried a stiff resolution to keep. But after a while, she began for to smile, and called him her darling and honey, and she gave him a nudge. But Dan wouldn't budge. She said, oh, all right, I'll lend you the money. So, though men get the blame, we are all much the same. By the needs of the flesh we're all driven. And it seems it's a myth that it's Mr. not Miss who the sexual passion is given. For though now and then it's the cock, not the hen, who's inclined for to make the first move, it is often the case that the female gives chase, and that is the glory of love. Now, there's a woman called Anne Winter who used to live in Chichester. She was known for a few years as the Sussex Nightingale, and we struck a bit of a she was staying with me down in Devon, where I live, at the very start of the pandemic. And of course, when the pandemic started, we weren't allowed to go anywhere. So she hasn't gone home ever since. And she's here with me tonight. She's going to sing a song for us, please. Annie Winter.
mind. It'll be all right. This is a song that I learnt from the singing of Stan Graham. When I was in Chichester, there still is a very good folk club there. It runs weekly, now on a Monday evening. In fact, we're going there on the way home tomorrow. And it was just great. You know, every week you went and had somebody different or just sing around. And Stan Graham was a guest one evening, and he sang this song, and he said, it's really not a song for a man to sing so much. He said, so why don't you take it, go away and see what you want to do with it and try and put it out. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. It's called Captain, Oh My Captain.
I'm really in tune.
Good, that helps. So am I.
Sorry, but I use about 5 or 6 different tunings, and sometimes it takes a little while. But think yourself glad Martin Carthy's not here.
And he's lying close to me. He's dashing, dark and handsome, like the wild and raging sea. I'll hold him ever closer till it's time for him to go. For when the dawn is breaking and the north wind blows, he sails away from home, sails away from me. My dark and handsome captain loves the sea. He follows every trade wind wherever they may blow, for up there on the wide sea he goes where sailors go. Hardwood from the Indies and gold from Bendigo, with broken hearts and promises forgotten in his hold. He sails away from home, where his heart is free. Captain, oh my captain, sail back home to me. It's too long years I've waited since my captain left the shore. He swore I was his own true love from here to Singapore. So I lighten my brightest candle to shine way out to sea, a message to my captain, sail back home to me. He sails away from home, he sails away from me. My dark sails away from home. He sails away from me, my dark and handsome captain loves the sea. He sails away from home, where his heart is free. Captain, oh my captain, captain, oh my captain, captain, oh my captain, sail back home to me.
Thank you very much. She'll be back. You might notice I haven't played the banjo yet. That's a threat, by the way. I don't particularly like the banjo, but most people hate the banjo, and quite rightly.
It's the devil's work.
It's the devil. The devil's left and right hand. It was my birthday earlier this month, and some wag from Chichester Folk Song Club, in fact, sent me a card, well, an e-card that I could have printed, cut out, and made it into a card. It was extremely funny. I've got to show it. Knowing that I'm a banjo player, and Chichester Folk Song Club deride banjos, and I used to play there a lot when Annie lived in Chichester. And this isn't a racist thing at all. This is there was a picture of an old picture, probably 40s, 30s or 40s, a black guy with a banjo playing, and a white woman next to him, and the captions are the black guy saying, "You don't fancy me, do you? Is it because I is black?" And she said, "No, it really isn't that. I promise you, it's not that." Wonderful. I'm going to sing a song called "The Poor Old Couple," and
Fancy those here.
sorry.
Fancy those here.
Plenty of poor old. Well, this is it. This was well, Malcolm will know this. This was collected from an old lady in Dorchester workhouse in 1900. I can't remember her name, but I bet you do. And it says they're a poor old couple. They were poor. Their little house only had one door. Well, that comes up in the song as well. This is a very old song. So when they're called an old couple, they were probably mid-40s in those days. And there's a little bit where it says the older woman was weak. It turns out to be totally ironic. There's plenty to join in with in this. I can't remember until I get there, but you'll find out. The poor old couple. Well, it's of an old couple, they were poor as the wind blows over the lea. It's of an old couple, they were poor, the poor little house only had one door. Oh, what a poor couple were they, what a poor couple were they. Now the old man, he went far from home, as the wind blows over the lea. The old man, he went far from home, the old woman was afraid to be alone. Oh, what a weak woman was she, what a weak woman was she. Now the clerk of the parish, he lived close by, as the wind blows over the lea. The clerk of the parish, he lived close by, with the old woman he vowed to lie. Oh, what a bold man was he, was he, oh, what a bold man was he. At 8 o'clock or a little bit more, as the wind blows over the lea. 8 o'clock, a little bit more, a gentle knock came to the door. Oh, who is there, said she, said she. Who is there, said she. It's only the clock, don't be afraid, as the wind blows over the lea. It's only the clock, don't be afraid. Come down and open the door, he said. Oh, yes I will, said she, said she. Yes I will, said she. At 10 o'clock or a little bit more, as the wind blows over the lea. At 10 o'clock or a little bit more, another knock came to the door. Oh, who is there, said she, said she. Who is there, said she. It's your husband, dear, don't be afraid, as the wind blows over the lea. It's your husband, dear, don't be afraid. Come down and open the door, he said. She said, he said. Oh, yes. In a minute, said she, said she. Yes, in a minute, said she. For it's I've been sick since you've been gone, as the wind blows over the lea. It's I've been sick since you've been gone. If you'd been in the garden, you'd have heard me groan. I'm sorry for that, said he, said he. I'm sorry for that, said he. There's one thing I request of thee, as the wind blows over the lea. There's one thing I request of thee, go fetch me an apple from a yonder tree. That's easily done, said he, said he. It's easily done, said he. So the old man, he climbed up the tree, as the wind blows over the lea. The old man, he climbed up the tree, the crafty old clerk, away ran he. That's cleverly done, said she, said she. It's cleverly done, said she. I'll do it later. We're going to do one more. We're going to ask Annie back up to do this one. We're going to do One for Sorrow. Now, where we've been staying up the road, at the Greens, there's visitations from all sorts of birds, especially a beautiful magpie on his own, and that is a worry.
One for sorrow.
This song is called One for Sorrow, and the chorus goes, sitting in a tree, one magpie, looking at me with his beady eye, tipping up his tail in a mad March gale, goodbye Maggie Pie, time to fly.
Got it?
A blackbird would help, wouldn't it? A blackbird would help. Sitting in a tree, one magpie, looking at me with his beady eye, tipping up his tail in a mad March gale, goodbye Maggie Pie, time to fly. And I put a what? I'm too close to you.
No, I said I'm encroaching on you.
Oh right.
I need him sitting on there.
That's our own technical advisor, Ian. Thank you very much. I put a tune on the end, which was already called Among the Crows and Rooks. And I thought it would go with this one because magpies are members of the crow family, as you know. And if you listen very carefully in the tune, you might hear the sound of a crow cawing. And after this, we're going to have a short intermission.
one magpie sitting in a tree, one magpie for sorrow, sitting there grinning and laughing at me, gonna have a bad day tomorrow.
Sorry, I do it in E, you do it in D, I'm sorry.
I've got the right pattern.
You can't get the staff.
We can't ask her to tighten her belt, can we?
One magpie sitting in a tree, one magpie for sorrow, sitting there grinning and laughing at me, gonna have a bad day tomorrow. Sitting in a tree, one magpie looking at me with his beady eye, tipping up a sail in a mad March gale. Goodbye, magpie, time to fly. One of those days I should have stayed in bed. I know I'm going to suffer. I was on the meal last night and I've got an aching head. Things are just gonna get rougher. Sitting in a tree, one magpie looking at me with his beady eye, tipping up his tail in a mad March gale. Goodbye, magpie, time to fly. I haven't got a job since I went and told the boss. He knew where he could stuff it. And I haven't got a house cause the rent is overdue. I'm just gonna have to rough it. Sitting in a tree, one magpie looking at me with his beady eye, tipping up his tail in a mad March gale. Goodbye, magpie, time to fly. Never trust your luck when things are going well. They won't go well forever. I'll be lucky in and out like a cuckoo in a clock, and it changes with the weather. Sitting in a tree, one magpie looking at me with his beady eye, tipping up his tail in a mad March gale. Goodbye, magpie, time to fly. Maybe it's because I never stop to think. Maybe it's because I'm a rover. Maybe it's because I like a little drink and I do it 10 times over. Sitting in a tree, one magpie looking at me with his beady eye, tipping up his tail in a mad March gale. Goodbye, magpie, time to fly. If I ever get me hands on a thieving little bird, I'll give him one for sorrow, cause he's gone and flown away and he left me to me fate. Have a bad day tomorrow. Sitting in a tree, one magpie looking at me with his beady eye, tipping up his tail in a mad March gale. Goodbye, magpie, time to fly. Sitting in a tree, one magpie looking at me with his beady eye, tipping up his tail in a mad March gale. Goodbye, magpie, time to fly.
everybody, just before you decamp to the bar, just before you decamp to the bar, we are holding a raffle for an LP of Judy Felix, which is kindly donated by our wonderful district councillor Andrew Mear, and his partner won this in a raffle when Judy Felix was playing here back in 1984. Those of you that are observant, you would see just behind Ian there, Judy Felix in October 1984 played here. She was very well known in the 70s and 80s as a folk singer. She's from America. It's a signed copy. With a seagull drawn on the back. We're raffling it in on behalf of the Pet Level Independent Rescue Boat. Yeah. So, £1 a ticket or 6 for £5. And just one other thing, we're passing the hat around for our musicians. Thank you very much for your patience.
And we'll need one of those wind-up gramophones to play it with. Okay? Right, we'll be back in a little while. Thank you very much to Paul and Annie. Absolutely terrific. See them again in a bit.